Listen to me. Just 3 days. That's all I'm asking. Not 3 months, not 3 years, 3 days. You've been talking to yourself, but you haven't been talking right to yourself. And there's a difference. The words you speak to yourself are either seeds or weeds. And right now it's time to plant something different. Talk to yourself like this, just for 3 days, and watch what God begins to activate in your life. Let me give you the blueprint. 4 key points. Write them down, speak them out loud, and walk in them like you already own the result. You've got to settle this once and for all. I am who God says I am. That means no more negotiating with doubt. No more entertaining opinions that never build anything. No more living under labels that were never assigned to you by heaven. You are not who your failures say you are. You are not who your past says you are. You are not who your bank account says you are. You are who God says you are. And that is final. See, most people let the world define them before they ever discover who they really are. They let school grades define them. They let family dysfunction define them. They let trauma, betrayal, or scarcity define them. But that's not the truth. That's just noise. And you've been listening to the wrong voice for too long. The enemy of your soul is not afraid of your hustle. He's afraid of your identity. Because when you start to walk in the identity that God gave you, that's when the game changes. That's when fear starts running. That's when poverty starts packing its bags. That's when confusion clears. Because identity is the foundation of transformation. You've been trying to change your habits. You've been trying to change your behavior, but until you change your belief about who you are, nothing is going to stick, because behavior follows belief, and belief is built on identity. Let me give you a truth that'll break some chains. You are not your mistakes. You might have failed, but you're not a failure. You might have fallen, but you're not finished. God didn't call you based on what you did. He called you based on what he placed inside you before you were even born. You were chosen. You were formed with purpose. You were designed to dominate. That means when you wake up in the morning, you don't wait for the world to tell you who you are. You tell yourself. You don't need permission. You don't need validation from people who don't even value themselves. You speak over your life like a prophet. You declare it like a general. You say it with your chest. I am who God says I am. Say it until your doubt gets offended. Say it until your anxiety gets evicted. Say it until your spirit stands up straight again. God says you are fearfully and wonderfully made. That means you're not a copy. You're an original. Stop comparing yourself to people who don't even know their own calling. The only competition you have is the version of you that settled for less. God says you are the head and not the tail. That means you were born to lead. You were born to rise. You were born to break generational curses, not repeat them. You were born to build something that outlives you. You weren't born to be average. You were born to be anointed. God says you are more than a conqueror, not just a survivor, not just a struggler. You're a conqueror and then some. You weren't just made to endure the battle. You were made to win it and go back for more. That's why you can't quit now. That's why you can't settle now. There's too much greatness in you to stay stuck. You got to talk to yourself with the same power that raised Christ from the dead, because that power lives in you. So when fear speaks, you answer with faith. When shame whispers, you respond with truth. When the enemy reminds you of your past, you remind him of his future, and you keep walking forward. This is not about hype. This is not about ego. This is not about pretending you're perfect. This is about walking in the divine identity God gave you so you can unlock the assignment he placed on your life. You can't lead others if you're still confused about who you are. You can't sell with confidence if you don't believe in your own value. You can't step into abundance if you still see yourself as unworthy. It all starts here. I am who God says I am. Start writing it down. Start declaring it. Make it your password if you have to. Put it on your mirror. Put it in your journal. Put it in your phone reminders. Speak it when you feel weak. I am strong because God said. Speak it when the bills show up. I am provided for because God said I am. Speak it when people walk away. I am never alone because God said he is with me. This kind of self-talk isn't wishful thinking. It's spiritual warfare. You're not just motivating yourself. You're activating divine truth. And when you speak truth, you give heaven permission to move on your behalf. So say it loud. Say it daily. Say it even when your voice shakes. Because once you start speaking like who God says you are, you'll start walking like it, you'll start building like it, you'll start leading, giving, loving, and living like it. You are who God says you are, and that's more than enough. Let me tell you something that'll shift your entire mindset. Your words are not just sounds, they are seeds. Every time you speak, you plant something. Every time you think, the only question is, are you planting faith or are you planting fear? Are you planting purpose or are you planting poison? Your words create your world, not your job, not your boss, not your background, not your bank account, your words. You've been taught to believe that talking to yourself is crazy. No, it's necessary because life and death are in the power of the tongue. You either speak life into your future or death into your destiny. You either declare what God promised or you repeat what fear presented. See, most people speak what they see, but the ones who win speak what they believe. They speak before it shows up. That's faith. That's creation. That's divine design. When God created the world, he didn't build with his hands. He built with his words. He said, let there be light. And guess what? Light showed up. He spoke, and it was. And if you're made in his image, then that same creative power lives in your mouth. But the problem is you've been misusing it. You say things like, I'm tired. I'm broke. I never win. No one supports me. Nothing ever works out. Do you know what you're doing? You're building a cage with your own voice. You are prophesying defeat over your own life. And then you wonder why you feel stuck, why you feel low, why you can't move forward. It's because your mouth is dragging your life in the wrong direction. You don't get what you want, you get what you say. Your language is either your prison or your passport. It's either pushing you forward or pulling you back. Let me ask you a real question. What if everything you said today had to happen by tomorrow? Would you still be saying what you're saying? Would you still be talking about how tired you are, how stressed you are, how broke you feel? Would you still be saying, I don't know what I'm doing, or I can't catch a break? See, you change your words real quick if you knew they were shaping your reality. But guess what? They already are. So now we flip the script. You start saying, I attract opportunities daily. I sell with confidence and people respond. I am walking in overflow. Money flows to me because value flows from me. My business is blessed. My health is strong. My future is bright. Doesn't matter what you feel. Speak what you want to see. Doesn't matter what it looks like. Speak what God promised you. Some people will say, but I don't want to lie to myself. No, you've been lying to yourself by calling yourself broke, average, or not enough. That's the lie. You speaking power and promise over your life, that's truth. That's faith in action. That's you aligning with the word of God instead of the whispers of doubt. Let me break it down for you. Your words don't just describe your world, they design it. You wake up and say, this is going to be a powerful day. Guess what? Your energy, your mind, your body, your spirit all align to find power in that day. You say, I am valuable, and people pay me for the value I bring. Guess what? You start selling like it. You start showing up like it. You start commanding rooms like it. But the opposite is true too. You say, I don't think this will work, and suddenly your energy shifts. Your posture collapses. Your action slows down. You sabotage yourself because your words told your mind, why bother? That's why I'm telling you, you've got to master your mouth. If you don't speak with purpose, you'll keep living by accident. You'll keep reacting instead of creating. You'll keep repeating old patterns instead of releasing new possibilities. Let me tell you this. This is not some motivational fluff. This is biblical law. This is spiritual principle. And this is business strategy. I've seen people transform their income, their confidence, their family, their whole life just by changing how they. So here's what I want you to do. Just try it for 3 days. For 3 days, I want you to talk like your future depends on it, because it does. No complaining, no victim talk, no self-sabotage. You wake up and you say, I am blessed in the city and blessed in the field. I walk in favor. I think with clarity. I move with purpose. Everything I touch prospers because I serve a God who prospers me. You say it out loud. You say it often. You say it even if nobody believes it yet, because you believe it. Because once you realize that your words are tools, you stop wasting them. Once you understand that your words create your world, you stop cursing your own future. Once you start speaking like a king, living like a leader, and declaring like a disciple, your world starts shifting your business starts booming, your peace starts increasing, and you start seeing with your eyes what you first spoke with your mouth. So say it every day. My words create my world, because once your mouth believes it, your life starts to build it. You got to make a decision. And I mean today, you either live by faith or you live by fear. There is no neutral. Every move you make is either pushing you toward your calling or pulling you away from it. And you've been stuck in between too long, caught in hesitation. Caught in what if, caught in I'm not ready. That's not wisdom. That's fear in disguise. Faith is not a feeling. Faith is a force. It's not a vibe. It's a verdict. When you act in faith, you tell heaven, I trust you more than I trust my emotions. I trust your word more than I trust my worry. And that's when momentum starts showing up. That's when doors start opening. That's when resources start finding you. Why? Because you finally moved. Most people are not stuck because they lack talent. They're not stuck because they lack information. They're stuck because they won't move without a guarantee. But faith doesn't need a guarantee. Faith is the guarantee. The moment you move, you unlock what you were waiting on. See, fear wants you to wait for certainty. Faith wants you to move with conviction. Fear says, what if it goes wrong? Faith says, even if it does, I'll still win. Because faith understands something fear never will. God is not going to let me fall without purpose. Fear will always give you a reason to play small. It'll dress up as logic. It'll sound responsible. But at its root, it's just unbelief. And God can't bless what you won't believe him for. Faith is the access key to favor, and favor flows where obedience goes. That means you don't wait until the money shows up. You move like it's already handled. You don't wait until the right people come. You move like they're already on the way. You don't wait for the outcome. You move because you already know the outcome is victory. You can't pray for miracles and then walk like you're cursed. You can't ask for abundance and act like you're broke. You can't call yourself a king and still live like a beggar. That contradiction is killing your calling. You've got to act in alignment with what you believe. Faith is not about having it all figured out. Faith is about having your mind made up. I'm going anyway. I'm building anyway. I'm launching anyway. I'm investing anyway. Why? Because I trust the one who sent me. God never said you had to see the whole staircase. He just said take the first step. But you're waiting until step 10 is revealed, and that's why you're stuck at step 0. Faith says, I'll step first and let God do the rest. Let me be real with you. Faith is not always comfortable. It's not always logical. It's not always popular. But it is always profitable, not just in money, but in peace, in purpose, in power. The moment you act in faith, you shift from surviving to building, from reacting to creating, from hoping to knowing. When you act in fear, you postpone your promise, you delay your destiny, you choose safety over significance. But when you act in faith, you walk with authority, you speak with clarity, you move like you're backed by heaven, because you are. You might say, but what if I fail? Good, then you learn, then you adjust, then you come back smarter, stronger, sharper. Failure in faith is better than success in fear, because even when faith fails, it moves you forward. Fear never does. People think courage is the absence of fear. That's wrong. Courage is doing it while you're afraid. Acting in faith doesn't mean you won't feel fear. It means fear doesn't get to drive the car. Fear might be in the back seat, but faith has the will. You acknowledge it, but you don't obey it. So what do? You show up boldly. You sell like your product changes lives, because it does. You speak like your voice carries value, because it does. You lead like you were born to, because you were. And you keep doing it, even when nobody claps, even when the results don't come fast, even when it's quiet, because faith doesn't rely on evidence, it creates it. Every major shift in your life will start with one faith move, one step, where you said, I don't have it all, but I'm going anyway. That's how doors open. That's how breakthroughs happen. That's how legacies are built. Faith says, if God gave me the vision, he's already lined up the provision. Faith says, if he called me to it, he's already cleared the path through it. Faith says, this storm is just a test, but I'm still walking on water. So say it every day. I act in faith, not fear. Say it until fear gets tired of trying you. Say it until your feet start moving before your mind catches up. Say it until your life becomes the proof of what obedience can produce. Because faith is the bridge between where you are and where you were born to be, and the only way to cross it is to take the first step. You keep praying for breakthrough, but let me ask you something. What are you doing daily? Because breakthrough doesn't respond to desperation. It responds to discipline. You don't need another miracle. You need a method. You need a routine that matches the future you're asking God for. You can't just shout on Sunday and then sleep on Monday. You can't expect to live like a champion off of inconsistent habits. Let me make it plain. Your breakthrough is not in the big moment. It's in your daily motions. It's in the boring. It's in the basics. It's in what you do when nobody's watching. Your routine is either a system of power or a cycle of procrastination. It's either building you or breaking you. You can't rise higher than your habits. You can't out-pray what you refuse to out-discipline. You want a powerful life? Build powerful patterns. See, everybody wants the results. Everybody wants the elevation, but very few people want the repetition, the daily reps. The unseen grind, the early mornings, the late nights, the uncomfortable no's. But let me tell you something. God blesses what you steward. He doesn't reward potential. He rewards preparation. And routine is preparation in motion. If you want to find your future, look at your routine. If you want to find your ceiling, look at your daily schedule. Stop waiting for a shift and become the shift. Stop saying, God changed my life while living like yesterday. That's not faith. That's fantasy. You say you want breakthrough in your finances, but your daily routine includes overspending, emotional purchases, and no tracking of your income. You say you want breakthrough in your body, but your routine includes no movement, poor fuel, and no discipline. You say you want breakthrough in your business, but your routine includes scrolling instead of selling, reacting instead of reaching, watching instead of working. Listen, you can't pray your way out of routine. You live yourself into. That's why the devil doesn't even have to attack some people directly. He just lets them sabotage themselves slowly through sloppy habits. Let me tell you this. Success is not sexy. The breakthrough is not always loud. It's quiet. It's consistent. It's in that early alarm clock. It's in that extra rep at the gym. It's in that 5th follow-up email when nobody responded to the first 4. It's in the word before the world. And let's be clear, this is not just about productivity. This is about purpose. Because when your routine is aligned with God's assignment on your life, you don't just get results. You get revelation. You hear clearer, you see quicker, you move stronger. Why? Because you're no longer guessing, you're grounded. Your routine trains your spirit how to respond when challenges come, when money dips, when people leave. You don't fold. You keep moving. You keep showing up. Why? Because it's in your routine to rise. And here's the secret. Breakthrough doesn't feel like breakthrough at first. It feels like boredom. It feels like monotony. It feels like, is this even working? But you keep showing up, you keep sowing, you keep planting seeds, and one day suddenly shows up, the doors open, the money flows, the ideas connect, and people will call it luck, but you'll know it was routine. God blesses consistency. That's why Scripture says, be not weary in well-doing, for in due season you will reap. If you faint not. That faint not part, that's the routine. That's the grind. That's the discipline behind the destiny. You want a better future? Don't wait for it. Build it. One day at a time, one habit at a time, one decision at a time. Ask yourself, what does the future version of me do every morning? What does the wealthy version of me do with their time? What does the healthy version of me eat, speak, think, and repeat? Then take that vision and make it your routine. Speak this daily. I'm not ruled by feelings. I'm led by discipline. My day is ordered. My steps are strategic. My actions are anointed. I'm not waiting for a move of God. I am a move of God, and my routine proves it. Let that routine become your altar. Let your routine be the place where heaven meets earth. Let it be where your prayers gain legs, where your ideas gain traction, where your purpose gets daily proof. Because when you move with structure, you give God something to bless. When your routine is righteous, your results become supernatural. And when you honor your time, you attract divine timing. So no more waiting on the breakthrough, no more hoping it drops out of the sky. Your breakthrough is already here. It's hidden in what you do daily. Show me your routine, and I'll show you your results. Show me your habits, and I'll show you your harvest. Show me your structure, and I'll show you your next season. So say it with your chest. My breakthrough is in my routine, and then live like it. 3 days. That's all I'm asking. Talk like a king. Walk like you've already won. Think like it's already done. Because here's the truth. When you speak in alignment with who God made you to be, the world has no choice but to respond. Say it with me. I talk in truth. I walk in faith. I live on purpose. And I prosper by design. Now go talk to yourself like this just for 3 days, and your whole life will start to change.